When you get ready to turn a goblet, where do you start? How far down do you go with it? How do you approach this? What I try to do is sketch it out on the block of wood that I'm going to use. And I like to use a Forstner bit and hollow the inside to the best I can. This particular one, I'm going to use a 2-inch bit, and I'm going to take it down 2 inches. Then I'm going to go 1.5 inches down 1 inch. And this is a 1-inch bit. I'm going to go down about 1/2 inch. So I'm going to get most of this stuff hollowed out. And by doing that, now I only have to clean off these little areas right here. But if you come all the way down with say a 1 inch or 1.5 inch bit right to here and straight up, it leaves you a lot of material to clean out. Plus you have a bottom that's flat. And if you try to reach in there, it's pretty hard to round that bottom out. Here, I only have to deal with a small amount because I'm going to start to clean this out right here. So it's going to be tapered right into there. So it's going to really make it a whole lot easier. So to start with, I'm going to go ahead and take the 2-inch bit and take it down to about here, stop, and then we'll go down here. Then we'll start on how to sharpen, how to turn the rest of the blank. In doing so, we're going to use some of the information you saw in the video, how the grain is running this way here. And right now, if I was to cut in here, I would be cutting into the grain, which is not what I want to do. So I'm going to be coming in here, and I'm going to cut this way. And I'm also going to cut back this way. Inside, for the most part, I'm going to use a carbide scraper. So it's not going to be affected by the grain too much. So let's go ahead and drill down into here.
Hey, Joe?
Yes, sir.
You were going to do captive rings on the stem. Would you do the goblet first?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, because you need all the mass behind that goblet. When you start working on this, if you start cutting into here, you have no strength up here. Now you're going to start getting vibration. You never, ever go get ahead of yourself. Always stay.
And if you did that, if you were going to do captive rings, would you need some kind of support at the goblet end?
I would probably put a tennis ball in here and bring my tailstock up and support it with something like a tennis ball.
Yeah. Okay.
The guy who makes the rubber chuckies, also makes now a goblet chucky that you can stick in there instead of a tennis ball. So if you don't want to spend, if you don't want to spend 12 cents on a tennis ball, you can spend $40 on a goblet chucky.
Really? You don't want to handle those tools when they come out. They're not friendly.
No, I just got an idea for another demonstration.
What's that?
Show how to build your vacuum system.
Okay. Now there's very little wood in here to turn out, but we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of finishing in there. This here is a tool that I like to use. It's an easy wood tool. It's a I don't know what they call it, but it's great for getting in. It's stout. It lets you really clean out, and you don't get too much vibration with it. That's enough for the inside now. I'm fairly close to where I want to be. So now I want to start to work on this portion from here up.
Hey, Joe, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
So the guy last month said, when you're doing something inside like that, that you need to be careful not to put pressure outside toward you, basically, and your pressure should be toward the headstock. Do you pay attention to that?
Well, that pretty well depends on what you're turning. Like if I was down here and this was very thin, then I would want to put my pressure this way, because if I push it this way, I want to break it. As long as you got plenty of wood to work with, as long as you got support, you're fine.
Okay.
We were just informed that was the #1 hollow.
#1 hollow, okay.
Glad I brought that.
I would have found another way of doing it, but hey, I'm gonna start taking this top off right here. Get this round, which means I'm going to be taking quite a bit off till I get down to about there. Here, it's a small spindle gouge. It's really all you need when you're doing these. Too big of a spindle gouge, it gets you in trouble. And right now, we're pretty even all the way from here up. I still got some more to take off here, some flats, so I'm going to take off a little bit more. Okay, I got all the flat spots are gone. Now I just got to kind of finish up the inside of my cup to get it where I want it, and I'm not that far off. Now I'm going to go in with a scraper and square all that up. Okay, I have one little spot right in here. I want to clean up a bit. Okay, the inside's pretty well done. Just a little bit of sanding, it'll be done. So now I'm going to go ahead and finish the outside.
Are you pretty much marking your depth?
Yeah, yeah, I'm just feeling the end, bottom of the cup. I'm right about even with the bottom of the cup now, so I'm going to take off a little bit of here now. And let me go ahead and round this all out. These little spindle gouges, spindle roughing gouge right here, they're great little tools. They remove a lot of wood. If I had something supported here, you wouldn't hear that vibration, but I'm trying to get through with this. I'm going to turn a dust collector on for just a minute while I do this.
Hey, Joe, what kind of grit do you have on there?
Say again?
What kind of grit do you have on the board, your sanding board?
Oh, this board here, I think is about 100. And I think I have 150 on this side, but I'm about ready to replace it. This is pretty well had it. But
And why do you do it with the board instead of holding a piece by your hand?
It's quicker. And also it'll eliminate all the highs and lows because it's flat. I mean, you can do it with sandpaper, but it's going to take you, you may accelerate the highs and lows. Let me take a piece here. Here's a piece of 220. Tell you what, let me use. It's another way of doing it.
Did you make that holder?
No, actually, I bought these at the AAW symposium last time I was in Raleigh. Yep. Thank you. I'm not going to spend any more time on this right here. Just a matter of sanding it now and finishing it up. But it's pretty thin. It's probably about 3/16 the whole inside and out. But by working both at the same time, start hollowing out on the inside until you get it close, and then bring the outside to the shape you want, and then finish up on the inside. But don't mess with this yet until you get all this done, sanded. Now you can go ahead and start to clean this up and make your base. And you don't even have to support this now. I'm going to be staying right up in this area here. On this one here, now the grain is running longitudinal with the lathe. So it's, the grain's this way. So I'm going to make all my cuts this way right here. I'm going to cut downhill into the grain.
Is this where you would do a captive ring if you wanted?
Yeah, right now, if I wanted to do a captive ring, I would probably part this off down here, get rid of all this, to start my ring on this side and make another gap on this side and then work my ring. But we're not going to do that tonight. It's moving now, so I can see it going. So I'm gonna do a little support there. When you have a weak spot like that, it's always best to start your lathe out slow and bring it up. That quick startup can split that wood. Here's where I like to use my little skew. I don't know what to do with it. This could be a religious second right here. This can you lose your faith when you do this if you're not careful. Looks a little bit better.
What RPM are you at?
Right now about 680, 700, the sanding. I try not to go over that. Yeah, when something that tiny, it don't matter too much. Just if I was going to do a lot of using this tool or that tool, then I would turn it up to a higher speed. But between sanding and doing this, okay, let's go ahead and finish up the base. I'll put a chapter green on it. Yeah, okay. Let me clean that off a bit right there.
Is there a rule about the size of the base compared to the diameter of the goblet?
I try to make them just under the diameter, but I don't really think it matters. Normally, if you find a goblet you like, just take the dimensions off it and use it as your guide. Okay. Oops.
That's what not to do.
Yeah, you got to be careful because it's pretty thin, but you don't want it to be too tight. I want to part it off, but I want it to be able to ride in there. I gotta see what that does right there. Turn that speed down. I'm not worrying about making this fancy or anything. I'm just showing you the technique to do it. So that's basically all the steps you take to do a goblet. Everybody can go home and try to make one.
Joe, one other thing.
Joe challenge.
But I'll find,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said, really, if you learn to use Forstner bits to do the inside, it really makes it a whole lot quicker and easier than trying to do it all with the tool. Unless you just feel like spending time with the tool in there, but it's hard to turn up in there if you can't see what you're doing.
Okay. Joe, I want to ask you about it. It looks like you got a block mounted on your tailstock, and I'm just curious as to what that's about.
Yeah, there's actually there's a laser light. There's a line that runs right through the center of my lathe. So if I'm out here turning something big, I know where my tool rest should be because it's right there. So if I had something out here, and you see where that line is? I don't know if you can see it or not.
Yeah.
But I know how high to raise my tool rest because when you're far away from your center, it's hard to find that center. But that line always shows me where I'm at. And I have a calibration point over here where I could adjust this beam till it's right on that line. And that then I know my lathe is centered. But I really don't use it that often. But if I'm doing a platter or something like that, and I'm moving it, and you're always constantly changing the position, you'll always see that line across this. You know exactly how high to raise your low tool rest.
Well, you got the laser mounted on the side of the block there?
Yeah, it's just a block of wood. I drilled, I took 2 pieces of wood and drilled it out. Okay. Basically, it's 2 pieces of wood that are drilled out to fit this around. I forgot what diameter it is. Then I cut a little V in and I mounted this laser light in it. And it's just held in place. And I could actually raise or lower this and move it in or out. And this line can be adjusted. But I find it's useful sometimes. I don't use it a lot, but when I do need it, it's there. It's battery powered. And this is not a very pretty goblet, but it's really the object was to show you the way I do goblets, the sequence of which I do them. Try to stay off the stem until you get the whole upper part done. That's the key to it.
I thought you were going to make a pointed goblet with no base.
Mike,
yeah. I tell you what, if I was going to make one, it would take me 3 times longer. I rushed through this pretty quick. And I normally don't turn that fast.
When you have Joe.
What's that?
So who needs YouTube when we have Joe?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Joe, what's the dimension of that cone, that tailstock cone that you had on there?
This one here?
Yeah.
That comes with the one-way.
Yeah, it's 3.5 inches. 3.5 inch diameter. But the thing of it is, if you have one of these, a revolving center that's just a 1x10 thread. I'm sorry, three quarter by 10. You could make these out of wood. You just got to tap it for that, and you can make any size or shape of one of these you want out of wood. In fact, I've got a couple here that I've made for different purposes. They just screw right on. This is on a cup. This one here is just a soft touch. I want to come up against something and ride on it rather than scar the wood. This is what I use right here.
Yeah.
But I can't express enough, guys. I'm telling you, you guys go out and buy a lathe. That's the cheapest part of the investment. It's all these other things you buy for it.
That's how you know that a person is a true artist, when you start making your own tools.
Yeah, that's half the fun. You know, it's like all of my lathe tools are all with collet chucks. I don't have any wooden handled, except for like this one here. Just all my other tools, I've made my own handles out of PVC and collets, and I love them. They fit my hand good. I don't like a tool with the handle is so heavy you can't feel what that tip is doing. I find it critical. You got to feel that tip at all times. And you get a big, massive handle, you can't feel that thing.
You say that's PVC?
This is PVC, yeah. Just like this here. This is PVC.
Yeah.
And it's got a collet chuck in it. And what I like about it is it's easy to sharpen these tools. You don't have this big handle in the way. Just put that in your Varigrind and sharpen them. But this is just PVC with an end cap on it. It's a bottle stop. See? And if you like weights, you can put some shot in there or something. But I like a light handle. That's me personally. Everybody's different.
The collets just come, like a metal machine collet or whatever.
Yeah. In fact, I did a demo for the club a year or two ago. I had to make these and where to buy them, and I got all that information. In fact, go on my YouTube channel. I've got a video on how to make these on YouTube. I buy the collets, they're like $9. I bought them from Amazon, and cut a piece of PVC and epoxy this into it. And what I like about it is you can, if you want to travel, you can put that in. This is a Thompson tool. It's got a shoulder on it, so this is smaller than that. That's another reason I don't like Thompson tools. I don't like that shoulder. But like this one here is this one here. I could take it out when I'm in travel. I could just stick that right down inside, and it's protected. And you can get these. You can buy any size collet you want. You can buy a whole set of collets for $10 or $12, and
like E32s or something like that.
Yes, this an I think an E22. I think. No, I'm not really sure. Maybe it is an E32. I don't remember what it is, to be honest with you.
Does it say on top?
Yeah, it does. It's an ER20M. ER20M is what I buy. Be sure to get the M, because the M uses a different nut than the ER20, the plain. The M is what you want, ER20M. And they sell them on Amazon, has them. eBay's got them.
Yeah, I got a set of bill collets for E32 that,
Yeah.
just hold.
Yeah. What I like is being able to take these out to sharpen them. You don't have this big handle in your way when you go to sharpen your tools. And the thing too, all my tools feel the same to me because I have the same handle on all my tools. This one here is just the PVC that I cut. I haven't even cleaned it up or painted it yet. And you can Krylon paint and paint them any color you want.
Oh, you bought all your tools without the handles, or did you just take the wooden handles off?
No, I bought these tools without the handles. I had a couple here that had handles on them that I took the handles off, but most of my tools I buy just the tools. But I do like Carter and Son tools. I just like their tools better for some reason. They hold an edge. I like the grind on them. But there's a lot of different makes out there, and everybody's got their own preferences. I kind of like these. I'm used to them. But Thompson makes good tools too.
Carter and Sons come already sharpened. You don't have to. You can go right to the lathe with them when you get them. And
they're actually sharpened really good, the way I like them. Thompson tools are not sharpened the way I like them. First thing I do when I buy a Thompson tool is resharpen it. I don't like the. I like a really good grind on mine. I like my wings. I want long wings on my tool because I use the wings just as much as I use the tip. And the Thompson tools come with very, very little wing on them, so I have to regrind them. Again, that's me personally.
Those collet chucks that Joe's talking about, by the way, they're only about $8 to $10.
Yeah, they're real cheap. Yeah, and a lot of times when I do a demo, if I go back when we were doing a demo, I'd carry one handle with 4 different cutters with the collets already on them. So it's just a matter of switching them out. Any questions, guys, on this? So next month, everybody's going to show us a goblet, right?
That's the challenge. Well, that sounds like a challenge.
They're fun to do, and you have any questions, call me. I'll be glad to help you.
Great job,
Joe. Very good demo. Thanks,
Joe. It was very good.